I have a question here from Sean, and the question goes like this. What do you say of egoic pride? I've had an intense spiritual awakening last summer, and this has happened before and been shut down. The ego comes into that space and longs and ruminates over a life that was unlived, shocked and depressed over all the failures of having lived in separation. One wants to have never lost that state and wasted so much life. Life would have been so different. The grief is felt intensely in the heart chakra, a large pain body that's difficult to sit with. It's an intense spiritual depression that's hard to shake. The body is literally addicted to its old state of being and doesn't want to budge. He goes on then later, I sabotaged relationship and my calling over 20 years ago and proceeded down a much more negative timeline. The energetic residue of that is no joke. Okay, so what do I say of egoic pride? Egoic pride is a big obstacle on the spiritual journey, and it comes up in many different ways. It could come up in the form of holding on to beliefs and thinking that you know something. Could come up as just building up this sense of identity, this sense of self, to really protect yourself from no self, or this nothingness or emptiness. So it comes up in different ways, but that's not really what we're talking about in this question. You've had an intense spiritual awakening last summer, and this has happened before and been shut down. Typically when we get a glimpse or this initial awakening where it feels like everything opens up and then it slams back down and we're back to living in this separation and going back to being mind identified and living as the ego, we're basically experiencing life through that filter, the filter of the mind, the filter of the ego. And we're really in this contracted state. So that's what you're experiencing is you felt this openness and then it comes back to close. You felt this expandedness and then it comes back to this contraction. You felt this love and then it comes back to this state of fear. So it's very much like that. And this happens because there's certain things that are really incomplete on this journey. There's very much a journey and there's very much no journey. So on the relative level, there's this journey and there's certain things that need to be completed. On the journey, they need to be completed. They're very karmic and it's like we can't go forward until they're completed. And when we try and bypass them, then we get this kind of opening and then closing where it feels like we can't stay there because there's just certain kind of things, experiences that aren't being experienced fully. And you allude to that by saying something like, the grief is felt intensely in the heart chakra, a large pain body that's difficult to sit with. It's an intense spiritual depression that's hard to shake. The body is literally addicted to the old state of being. So it just comes back to that old state of being, and there's something that hasn't been felt fully. And any emotion that is not felt fully cannot be released, right? There's also this clinging to that spiritual awakening, that state. You say it, one wants to have never lost that state and wasted so much life. So there's a clinging, there's trying to hold on to, I want to go back there. How did I lose that state? And there's very much a lot of blame, right? I must have done something wrong. How did I lose it? I'm going back here in this separation, right? And when we're blaming ourselves or someone else or an outside experience, we play this victim. We essentially volunteer to play this victim. We become so identified as this victim. And the victim is created from blame. And it's supported by a story, a woe is me story, a story that has a lot of resentment, bitterness, regret, and grief. Okay, so those are some of the kind of the nuances of your question, that there's a lot of failures. There's a lot of failures. You're dwelling over the past. There's a lot of blame that you're blaming yourself for having lived in separation. There's a lot of regret that life could have been different, right? You actually say life would have been so different, right? There's a lot of regret, right? This loss, this grief is loss. You're losing something, but right now you don't even know what you're losing. So there's a little mix of that. So this victim identification, which is very much a contracted state of consciousness, a very contracted state of consciousness. And it's all being supported by a story. And there's, what are you saying here? There's a lot of clinging and resisting, clinging to this past experience, which is just an experience. It's no more, right? You experienced it, but where is it now? It's not here. It's not now. It's just an experience. But you seem to be trying to grab it, hold on to it, right? Which is making you really chained to the past. And then you want something to be different, right? Life would have been so different. So there's a lot of resisting what is. There's just not an acceptance for what is, because you want to go back to just an experience, while at the same time, what is this present moment, you're resisting it. You're saying, no, I don't want this. I want something different. There's this belief that life could have been so different. You literally say that. Life would have been so different. Well, that's just a belief, right? That's just a belief. How do you know? Can you be certain? You can't be certain. Is that true? Is that true? Life would have been so different. You don't know. It's not true. It's simply a belief. So we have to look at this belief. We have to look at this belief and see that it's nothing more than a belief. It's nothing more than a story that you're telling yourself, right? So you go on and talk about this grief is felt intensely in the heart chakra, a large pain body that's difficult to sit with, right? So why is it so difficult to sit with? As long as we are judging ourselves, blaming ourselves, condemning ourselves, punishing ourselves, we are creating suffering for ourselves. We're creating suffering. But if you stop trying to cling to that past experience, stop trying to hold on to that spiritual awakening experience, just let go of it. It's no more. And this belief in life could have been so different, this future projection of what it could be like, well, that's not here now either. That's simply a dream. That doesn't exist. That's just imagination. So this memory of this past experience, that's just memory. And life could have been so different. This is just imagination. So just let go of that memory. Let go of imagining. Let go of the past. Let go of the future. Stop trying to get back to that past experience. And stop trying to go to some imagined experience of what if. Just drop that. Just simply be fully present to this moment. Just allow yourself to relax totally. and be here now. Be here now without any story of past and future. Just simply let go of all expectations. Let go of all the roles, identities, and just simply be present with what is. And just simply remain as this open space of presence, this open space of awareness that's not trying to get anywhere. Just simply become aware that it is already here now. And just warmly welcome anything that arises within you without trying to judge it, without commenting on it, without creating any stories. Just feel it. Feel it fully. Whatever arises, just be this warm, open, loving space. That completely accepts anything that is here now. Don't try and resist. Don't try and run. Just simply be here with what is. And notice that whatever is arising in you. This empty space of awareness. Notice that whatever is arising is already here now. Whatever is here, present, is inevitable because it's already here. So don't try and resist what is inevitable. Don't try and run from what is inevitable. Just simply accept what is totally, completely, fully. Simply notice that there's what is. There's not what is not. There's no what isn't. There's just what is. Whatever's arising, just simply embrace it fully. Whatever's arising just wants attention. It just wants to be seen and loved. And by being present and simply noticing what is here now, you are seeing it, you are facing it, and embracing it You are no longer running from it. Whatever is rising is simply here. It's just coming and going. It's just passing by. Passing by like clouds passing by. But what you are is like the sky. You are this vast, empty space that is invisible. Just like the sky, you are watching the clouds go by. Just simply noticing them. Just simply witnessing them. Just witness whatever is arising in you. Just simply witness whatever is passing by. Don't get involved. Let go of judgment. Let go of commenting. Let go of creating stories. Just experience the rawness of the energy that is present. Just feel it fully. Open up to it. And realize that you are much greater than the feeling that is arising in you. You are this vast, empty space that is not touched by the feeling. That you can simply watch the feeling, experience it fully. Realize that this vast, empty space of awareness is not trying to get anywhere. It is always here. It is what you are. You are infinitely patient, always present, simply witnessing anything that arises, anything that comes and goes, any feelings that come will naturally go. There's no feeling that's going to last forever. But when we resist our feelings, they aren't felt fully. So they will always remain within us until they are felt fully. Simply embrace the totality of the feeling. Embrace your feeling fully, completely. And notice that the feeling is temporary, changing, coming and going. Notice that you, the awareness, this empty space, does not come and go. does not change. That what you are is ever present, unchanging, and untouched by any feeling or emotion, untouched by any experience of life. Who are you without identifying as Sean? Who are you without your past or future? Who are you without your story? You're simply this. This infinite space of awareness that is ever present, that is already free from the story, free from the character of Sean. Notice that this vast space, like awareness, is non-personal. There's no preferences, opinions. There's no gender. There's no age. There's no shape, size, height. No religion, nationality, or culture. It's non-personal. This awareness is what you are. And awareness is just a name. But what I'm pointing to is nameless. It's formless. It's simply here. What are you without a thought? Just this isness, this sense of existence, that you exist, this sense of beingness, not being this, not being that, just being. That without a thought, there's just this stillness and silence. And you are this stillness and silence. The stillness and silence of the universal heart that is ever present. Limitless, boundless. timeless, and always free. Who are you without the story of Sean? You are freedom itself. Unconditionally free. Free from all attachments. Free from all identification. Free from all limitations. This freedom is your nature. And you are already free. See that what I'm pointing to is you. Realize that you are this freedom. Realize that you've always been this freedom.